Hi there, special welcome to World Cup Daily Live here on Joy Prime and Joy News. My name is Razak Musbao, and it's been a very exciting weekend of World Cup action. Cape Verde continue their historic run in this competition. They are playing it for the very first time, and my goodness, what performance they've been putting up. Egypt also managed their first ever win in the competition yesterday. That was truly something special. Truly something special. Well, while Egypt and Cape Verde are celebrating, of course, likewise Morocco, who have now advanced to the next stage of the competition. Tunisia, they are in some chaos, real chaos, because even after the change in management, Hervé Renard could not change their fortunes. It was another humiliating defeat to Japan, and, well, remaining one more game to the end of the tournament, and there is absolutely no way they can make it to the next stage of the competition. So they are out. First African team to exit the tournament. They have one more game to play, and hopefully they can score their first goal, at least their second goal, and give their fans something to cheer. But it's been a terrible tournament for them. Really, really terrible. And there's been a lot of accusations here. Some of the players blaming the federation and some leadership of the sports ministry for their interference, and also complaints about the core of the team, which appear to be relatively new at the moment. They didn't play enough friendlies. The players are complaining and blaming the officials for the woes that the team have gone through in this very competition. We'll try and get into it, and also look forward to the Black Stars game against England, because, well, English media is very much excited about the game. They are doing all they can to try and unsettle the team. But the Black Stars say they are ready. They are truly ready. Achu is here with me. Hopefully, Daniel Kranti will be joining us via Zoom all the way from the USA. And we'll try and also touch base with Tahir Fentio, who is also in the USA. So it's a very packed show this morning. Actually, good to have you.
Likewise, Zach.
You were on commentary duty yesterday for the game involving Cape Verde and Uruguay.
Yeah.
That was special.
It was special, and I think of the teams that have played from Africa at this World Cup, Cape Verde perhaps are the one team that has done the most to advertise the AFCON, advertise the continent, advertise themselves. And they've done it without even winning a game.
It's incredible, man.
Against Spain and Uruguay. And I have massive respect for them for the way they've
And who would have thought that Cape Verde would be unbeaten, I mean, after facing Spain and Uruguay.
It's incredible. And if you look at the way they went about it, that game had everything. Goalkeeping errors, crazy goals from long-range efforts.
Telling you.
Then you see them concede that second goal again from crosses, set pieces from that left side again. And another goalkeeping error. This time they profited from it with Fernando Muslera, who's making a habit of making such errors. Because if you remember the first game that they drew against Saudi Arabia, he fluffed a very savable header, and that allowed Saudi Arabia to score the opening goal. It was a crazy game, but I think all the plaudits go to Cape Verde. And the beauty of it is that they may qualify without having to win a game. Because if they get a draw, they qualify with a neutral goal difference. And they definitely will be in the reckoning to qualify as one of the...
It's an incredible history for them. Their first time in the competition. They're probably learning from Ghana, aren't they?
Yeah.
When we made it in 2006.
Back in 2006.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Look, they've got a brilliant story. If you think back to the issues that this team has had to go through, Cape Verde don't have money.
They don't have money.
In fact, FIFA, for this World Cup qualifiers, you know the FIFA Forward program?
Yeah.
They set specific benchmarks for you to meet before they release the funds. Cape Verde are one of those countries where FIFA had to sort of bend or relax the rules in terms of what they were going to use those monies for. Because at the start of the World Cup qualifiers, Cape Verde didn't have money. If you remember the stories around the AFCON qualifiers, the games against Botswana that they lost. Cape Verde arrived in Botswana the night before the match, and then they lost it. Then they lost the reverse fixture as well. owing to issues of money, owing to issues of poor logistics and preparation, couldn't book hotels on time because there was no money. When the World Cup qualifiers started, they had just taken custody of the FIFA Forward proceeds. Then they decided that, you know what, we're going to push a significant chunk of it into the World Cup qualifiers because whatever happened in the games against Botswana was something that they did not want. Because those two games, that double header, is how they lost the AFCON qualification.
It's incredible.
Yes,
it's incredible.
And then they take it into the World Cup and look, it's
We'll bring you that
story.
game that Cape Verde played against Uruguay, and of course Egypt also historic win. We'll bring you those games. Let me just say, Betano show is brought to you by Betano. They say believing makes it real. Azar Paint is also supporting us massively here, and UMB Bank also proudly serving Ghana with speed since 1972, and also the official banking partners of the Ghana Football Association and the Black Stars. Pepsodent is also supporting us. They say do the two, brush morning and evening, and Sigma Appliances, create possibilities, Sigma Appliances, create possibilities, TVs, fridges, air conditioners, everything you need, Sigma Appliances have got them. So the next time you go to your appliance shop, if you're looking for premium quality appliances, then ask for Sigma. And a live soap also, feel fresh. I mentioned yesterday on radio that a live soap is the kind that when you use to shower, when you use to clean yourself, you don't even need a perfume because the freshness you feel is enough to carry you throughout the day. You don't need a perfume. A live soap, I'm telling you, does not only clean you, keeps you fresh. And Fortune Spread also, yummy, delicious, and always on point. Fortune Spread. And Orca Deco, think home, think Orca. Think home, think Orca. All right? All your home furniture, Orca Deco has got all of it. And Wood Lucky is also supporting us. And they say, stick small and win big. Stick small and win big. All right? So let's start with some highlights now. And let's see where we're going to start from. Okay, maybe let's start immediately what happened yesterday, and then we'll get back into Tunisia. We'll look at Morocco and a few other games that happened.
And Côte d'Ivoire.
Cote d'Ivoire, Germany. Are you kidding me, Cote d'Ivoire? Are you kidding me? Simon Adingra.
When they go back.
When they go back where?
When they go back to Côte d'Ivoire. Because now they will go out, I think they qualify. But even if they qualify, that chance that Adingra failed to score is the reason they are likely to meet France instead of Scotland.
All right, you know what? Let's start with Tunisia.
So I'm saying that when they go back, they should line Adingra at the airport.
No, I mean, you should,
25 strokes.
It happens.
No. 25 strokes.
Look, it happens. Just take it easy.
Yeah, but the 25 strokes will fix his mind.
What about Frank Kessie? Frank Kessie equally had many chances to compete.
See,
it's not
Kessie is an old man. His legs are gone. You can understand. You, Adingra, you're right-footed.
No, Kessie is an old man, experienced player. He's played at the very highest level.
If you're able to explain to me,
do better than Adingra.
If you're able to explain to me what Adingra was trying to do, maybe we can pardon him.
Well, I'll try and explain to you what he was trying to do, all right? But let's start with Tunisia, because they lost their first game to Sweden, 5-1. And right after that, the Tunisian Football Federation felt that, no, this is not how we want to fare in the World Cup. So they decided to make a change in the coaching department. They went for Hervé Renard. He had just two games to play, one against Japan, then another against the Netherlands. And they were hoping that he can produce some magic to see them advance to the next stage of the competition. But guess what? First game in charge against Japan. They lost. And guess how many goals they lost by? Watch this. So that's Tunisia's record in this competition. 9 goals in 2 games. 9 goals in 2 games. And I don't mean they scored 9, they conceded 9 in just 2 games. And they managed just 1. In fact, if you compare that to 2018, they conceded 8. And in 2 games in this competition, they've already conceded 9. And they become the first African side to exit the competition. That is incredibly poor from Tunisia and the Federation. And Achu, Hervé Renard, the hope was that he can come and improve something, at the very least improve the defense. And you don't blame him because he had maybe about 3 or 4 days before this game against Japan. They knew that it was a risk. It was a risk. It was a big gamble to try and bring the man in to salvage the situation. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. And this game was also significant in the context of the World Cup because it was the 1,000th game in the World Cup. The 1,000th game in the World Cup. And Japan, my goodness, good win.
Good win. I don't think any of us were expecting anything different. Maybe it's the margin that appears harsh, but if you're able to ship in 5 or 4 against Sweden, well, then Japan, who are significantly better than Sweden, can do that to you. I say that because if you look at Tunisia's history against Japan, they had only won 1 in their last 7 matches that they had played against Japan. So that history itself did not help. But fundamentally, he had taken on a job that is more or less a poison chalice. And that's how I see it. There was no way he was going to succeed. If you look at the circumstances, if you look at what Sabri Lamouchi left him and the fact that he was walking into the deep in a period like this, it didn't matter their impressive defensive record during the qualifiers, which is falling apart anyway. They considered just 1 goal in the qualifiers. But in the last 3 matches that Tunisia have played, they've shipped in 14. And in attack, they are toothless because I was looking at the numbers. They had just 2 shots on target.
Yeah.
And that was worth a combined 0.05 expected goals. How do you go to the market with that? How do you go to war with that? Do you get the point I'm making?
Yeah.
So they didn't really offer much, but it's not a game that I even want to analyze the specifics of it because it will be so unfair to the manager, Hervé Renard.
No, but the point is that, yes, I understand it's unfair. Okay, you think he took this job?
I think he took this job just to coach at the World Cup, not necessarily because he believed he could make a certain
To coach
impact.
at this World Cup?
Yes, not because he believed he could make an impact. Because if you look at the nature of the contract itself, it is for 2 matches.
Yeah.
And at the end of the World
Not
Cup...
necessarily for 2 matches.
For the duration of the
tournament.
But when you say not necessarily for 2 matches...
No, but not necessarily. They say for the duration of the tournament. If he had gone
you
beyond the group
you
stage...
believe this team could have
He could have gone beyond the group stage. You know, he could have. Anything
by
could have
beating
happened.
this Japanese team.
It could have happened. But the point is that, look, Hervé Renard, as much as, yes, we understand that he found himself in a difficult situation, I don't think it's acceptable that the team, the federation reposes such confidence in you to come and fix things, and you go and lose 4 goals to 0. At the very least, do something. For me, I think Hervé Renard also must bear some responsibility. Look at that.
He tried to do something by changing the goal. Look, I say it's a poison chalice because for a team that is structurally broken, it's not a team that you can fix with 4 training sessions, which is what he had before this one. And even of the 4 training sessions, one perhaps was a recovery session after the game that they played. Without him, of course, because he took over 2 days after the match against Sweden. He was announced the day after, and then he got to camp a day after that announcement.
Yeah.
So he's at, 3 days, 4 days?
He said he was in Senegal when he got the call and quickly had to rush to the US.
I am clear in my mind that Hervé Renard took this job because he wanted to coach at the World Cup, because the finances were good, and nothing more than that. I don't think he genuinely believed that he could change the fortunes of this team or attain anything respectable. Anything respectable would have been 2 draws or 1 win and a defeat in that circumstance. And it is strange because, for me, I think this is an unnecessary stain on his reputation, on his CV, because, and I said it here last week, at the end of the World Cup, there will be managerial vacancies in some of the most attractive national teams on the continent. The Black Stars job will become available. Depending on how Carlos Queiroz does, he may or may not be a front runner. We know that there are people in high places at the GFA, in government, who fancy the idea of Hervé Renard. South Africa have got deep pockets. Hugo Broos has said at the end of the tournament, he will not be coaching.
But I don't think this performance will
but I'm saying
stop
that
him from getting any of these jobs.
It's an unnecessary stain.
Yeah, but it wouldn't necessarily...
It may not be...
Yeah, it wouldn't necessarily...
I'm saying that it may not be what will stop you,
yes,
but it's a stain you don't want on your record. apart from the...
But that can be easily explained away, isn't
How?
it? It's a stain that can be easily explained away. If you look at the context in which he lost those games, anybody at all who is hiring him can understand that, look, yeah, it was a very difficult situation, wasn't it?
If I'm hiring and I make the determination that this guy took that job just for the money bits and not necessarily because it's a job that he could look at and say the elements were in place for him to help the team and maybe bring a certain value to his employers, that's an asterisk.
Yeah, but it's a risk that not many coaches will be willing to
You don't
take.
get the point.
No, I get your point. You're coming from the financials bit, and I'm saying that he could also make the argument that, look, it's a risk. It's a real risk that, look, I can go in there and it could be a disaster for me. But he decided to embrace the risk. It's not a risk many coaches can take. Yeah. And if he goes to any interview with that argument, who wouldn't want a coach who wants to take a risk? And we know this was a risky thing.
Yeah, but the money argument defeats it. But anyway, back to the point. I think even beyond those two, Algeria gave Petkovic, I think, a contract extension 18 months ago or somewhere last year. And Petkovic is on $135,000 a month. If they make the determination that Halilovic, if they make the determination that they are not getting value for money, that job all of a sudden becomes available. And it is prime for a new coach to walk in there because it is still, to a certain extent, reliant on some of those old legs.
Yeah.
So it's a team that someone could walk in there, reshuffle the pack, turn over the squad, and start a new project. Even Senegal, the Pape Thiaw has not been given a new contract yet.
Well, he said he's been given a new contract now.
Which he has not signed. Until you sign it.
No, but he admitted that the contract has been given and he's accepted it. He said it took too long, but it's been given.
So that has been sorted.
Yeah, it's been sorted.
Yeah, but the point is that at least there are vacancies on the continent.
Yeah.
That I think would have been more attractive in better environments. I think the Ghana job would have certainly checked that box.
If Hevery now becomes available for Ghana, will you not take him if you were the hiring officer, despite the performance?
I will consider him.
Exactly.
I will consider. But as I said, a lot of that will also depend on how well Carlos Queiroz does.
Yeah, indeed. And for Tunisia, they became the fourth country to lose consecutive matches at a single FIFA World Cup by 4+ goals. And they joined the likes of Greece, Korea Republic, and Bolivia in that record. If you look at the last time that happened was in 1994, and prior to that was in 1954, and even prior to that was in 1930. So what Tunisia have done...
And they've done it twice in one tournament.
It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable, all right? Anyway, let's just take a very quick turn, and when we'll come back, I want to tell you about UMB and some of the really good packages they've got for you and why you need to create an account with them. Then I also tell you the very interesting discount that Orca Deco is offering you this World Cup season, and even more, Betano have got some welcome bonus for you when you create an account with them, all right? I'll tell you all about that when we come back. So welcome back. It's World Cup Daily Live here on Joy News and Joy Prime. We want to hear from you, okay? We're about to talk about Ivory Coast. I'm sure you watched the game. How did you feel about it? Like, how did you take it? Because I got home and still people were talking about it. On my way home, I was on Saturday. The conversation was still on. People were disappointed with Ivory Coast and all of that. So let's hear from you. The WhatsApp line is there. Okay, send us your messages. What you made of that performance by Ivory Coast against Germany? Man, I don't know what you think. Just send me a message, okay? Tell me how you felt about that game. And while talking about it, Aju and I were just talking about Simon Adingra and telling us why should he be the one to blame? Why should he be the one to carry all the blame?
That chance he missed is the difference between a fairly negotiable run of 32 contests and going up against...
Because at the point, it was 1-1 at the time.
1-1.
So he scores 2-1.
1-1. You know what makes it painful? Nicolas Pepe has been very unproductive throughout the tournament. The one moment where he made the right decision in every phase in that sequence, at every turn, is the moments Adingra decided to mess it up. Shemayonko.
It's incredible. Let's recap on the game, all right? Let's recap on the game, because what Germany and Julian Nagelsmann did in that game with those substitutions, bringing Dennis Undavon completely changed the game. That guy is a super sub. He's the real super sub, all right? Here's the game. Yeah, that was special, truly special. And for Germany, they just proved why they are real contenders for the World Cup. But they really did suffer. And Ivory Coast gave them a run for their money, didn't they?
They did. I think that the first point to start from has to be the manager and the stripes, Julian Nagelsmann. If you look at the changes that he made, so Germany were quite dominant in the first half. Then there is a cooling break, after which the momentum just dissipates. Cote d'Ivoire take over and just keep pounding away, That midfield combination that Cote d'Ivoire had, Olai.
It was really good. He was brilliant. He was brilliant, man.
That performance is the top 2 performance at this World Cup by a midfielder. The only that midfielder who has had more influence in any match at this tournament played in the same game.
Mecha.
Yes, Felix Mecha. And it's crazy because both were able to influence the game. Both were brilliant. Olai, I think Olai is an example or proof that the elite clubs don't always scout well. And I think sometimes having too much money forces you or makes it easier for you to actually do due diligence, scan properly around for sort of midfield talents because...
It's also about how the player is marketed. You know, that plays a part.
Yeah, but not necessarily.
And the agents of the players also play a part, don't they? And the agents are always communicating.
You see, there is that. But you, the club, you cannot be fooled by branding and marketing and an image that is always in your face. You need to cut through the noise in your scouting and find the profiles that are good and the profiles that are malleable with your club culture.
But whether you like it or not, there's no club who can scout every player everywhere.
No, I get it, but I'm saying that...
It's so difficult. So
I get it, but I'm saying that the sheer number of talents that gets overlooked only for the big clubs to sort of play around the same pool in the big leagues is incredible.
And that's why tournaments like this are good.
Yeah, this guy was playing at Bastia 2 years ago. In fact, last year or so, and then he makes a move to Trabzonspor. If you look at his skill sets, press resistance, shows up for the ball, is constantly moving. Defensively, he's sound for a player of his size. And he has everything. He has everything.
There was a move he made in midfield. I'm not sure if that's what led to their goal. It was a really good dribble in the midfield there like that. Took on about 3 German players. For a moment, I was like, wow.
Look, he just doesn't care. No matter the bodies around, having the low center of gravity helps. But he can dribble his way out of tight spaces. He can bounce it off a teammates, get it back, and then switch play. His passing, the short passes, he's always picking the right pass. His passing is not too flamboyant, but very effective. And it was the reason that Cote d'Ivoire could breathe easy after that cooling break and then warm themselves into that game. The other player... Now, I'm sitting here as a Man United fan and I'm wondering if United should have spent that money on Ederson when Mecha is available. And the rumor or the report is that around 60 million can do the business, which is to say that about 20 million more than what United were paying for Ederson would have done the business for them. Look, that presence of mind. You see the assist he gave for that goal?
Yeah.
That line broke through 2 lines, deep in stoppage time to find his marker, right weight on that pass, right technique, the presence of mind. It's just incredible.
But questions also need to be asked of Ivory Coast defense. How they did not anticipate that pass, and how they allowed Dennis Undav to even make the 10 in the box.
You can ask the questions about the goal, but as far as the pass is concerned, whether you set the offside trap or not, a scout will look at a player's capacity to find that space and to find the teammates and be able to execute it. That is what a coach would want to see from his midfielder.
But and that is why they would. Why is it the case that Ivory Coast didn't have anybody
we'll come to that.
In that space?
I'll come to that. And I will explain how it is not even the fault of Frank Kessie, but the player who actually plays him on side. I'm just saying that when I'm watching a midfielder do that, I would rather give him credit and not just focus only on the defending that played.
I mean, fair enough. It's understandable. It's understandable.
Look, throughout the game, his passing, his movement. He was always there as an option for a teammate to find. When the team was attacking, he was there. He had the legs to get there. The passing into space, his movements, when he had to dribble in tight spaces. And I like players who don't always try to be flamboyant unless the need calls for it. Against Curaçao, he showed us a different side of him when he scored that brilliant goal to open the floodgates for them in that game. And I think this is going to be his last summer playing for Borussia Dortmund, because there are a lot of elite teams out there who need a player of his kind. Manchester United certainly do. Chelsea.
Yeah.
If Enzo leaves, Mecha becomes an alternative.
Yeah.
And I think he would be an even better fit for Chelsea than what Enzo does, because Enzo gives you bits and pieces of everything, especially in the final third, but doesn't influence your build-up in a manner that a midfielder like Mecha will do. So I think that if Enzo Fernandez leaves Chelsea, he becomes someone that Chelsea would look at. Liverpool are crying for a central midfielder in that team. Then you talk about even the German Bundesliga. If I'm Bayern Munich and I'm looking at him, that's someone who's a much better fit for the holding midfield role than Joshua Kimmich.
Yeah.
Office. Yeah. For Bayern Munich.
I think just based on that game, they would have seen it.
They would have.
Because Julian had the option of putting Kimmich in that position, and he had Mecha and decided to put Mecha. And excellent job.
And so for me, look, he's been the best. The 2 games that he's played, I don't think we have seen a central midfielder who has been as influential as he has been in this tournament. Pedri had a good game yesterday when he was reverted to type. I would explain that. But on the points that you were making, if we can quickly show the highlights again on that Dennis Undav goal, and we'll talk about Undav in a bit.
And I'm sure we're going to get the still image of that goal, because we need to analyze it closely. I don't understand why the Ivory Coast defense went to sleep. Because prior to that incident, there was a very similar one that
Amiri.
Exactly.
Amiri shots. Exactly. That he side-foots it and the keeper saves it. But he also finds himself unmarked just on the edge of the penalty area. Not close to the offside trap, but a free man in a position he's not supposed to be free. When you play back the highlights, Kessie is actually holding the line because Agbadu, Kusonu down to his right side, single. Oh, sorry, at that time, Guela Due were all in line.
Yeah.
So the 3 or the 4 players immediately close to Dennis Undav had played him offside. The problem was that the left back, Conan, he didn't read the danger. The problem was Conan. He didn't read the danger and is the man who played him onside. So if Conan steps up 1 or 2 paces, Dennis Undav has straight offside and the flag goes up. But he doesn't. He doesn't. And again...
I think he was the only one who was playing onside.
He was the only one. But again, it raises the question of even that approach deep in stoppage time.
The approach of what? Sitting deep or?
No.
Or playing them on the
playing
offside?
A striker offside. Playing the offside trap. Because, look, it's the 94th minute or wherever, or whenever. The legs are gone. When the body goes, the mind goes with it. Concentration levels drop. Players are no longer making decisions as sharply as they were 20 or 30 minutes before. You get the point I'm making?
Yeah.
So when you want to set the offside trap, that is a big call. And you are doing it on the edge of your penalty area.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the image.
That is the challenge. If you get an aerial view...
That's the point I'm making.
Yes.
I don't understand why there was this much space left for
behind them,
Mecha to even put the pass. Because look at the 2 Ivorian players just on the edge of the D there. That space should be closed up. And why Dennis Undav... Hey, this is just poor defending from Ivory Coast.
It was poor defending.
Very poor defending.
So in the first case, you don't set an offside trap in stoppage time. You go man for man.
But it looked decent.
No.
For a moment. The man up there was just not in sync with everybody.
He was, but also, even if he was not offside, there is no way a striker who had scored 2 goals in the previous game should be free in the box.
Yes, it's true. That's a very fair point.
He should not be free. Someone needs to stay with him. So those are the 2 things that, for me, I don't like. Also, I don't even think that it was deliberate to set an offside trap.
Now, while you talk about the offside trap there, the finish was great. But then, is that, what's his name?
Agbadu.
Not Agbadu. The man, the Rasta guy close to Mecha.
Kusonu.
Close to Mecha. The
Mecha,
Rasta guy close to
that's Gesson. That's Gesson, the striker who came on.
Gesson, for some strange reason...
Doesn't press enough.
Doesn't press enough.
Mubarak, if we can see the highlights again.
Shouldn't just look at his position.
If we can see
so poor.
Just to get a better picture of it, if we can see the highlights again, just so you see the sequence of how Mecha picks up the ball as he advances before he hits that pass, and see if Gesson has the chance to actually press him and then force him not to make that pass. Because all of these little details are important.
Okay, great. Let's just take a look at it.
Yeah. When you consider that Gesson was a substitute.
Yes.
He had come on, I think, about 15 or 20 minutes to go.
He's got enough energy.
Those are the guys you expect to press from the front, because the very essence of that substitution is that it brings you fresh energy, a bit more motivation.
And all he did was to just stretch his leg, just stretch his leg trying to block it, go on to the man.
Yeah.
It's a few minutes to the end of the game. You should press him. At the very least, even if he's able to make the pass, don't let him get it as accurate as he did.
As he does. Or, look, you never know. If you press him, you perhaps force him to change the decision that he's making.
Go wide.
Perhaps the pass goes sideways, or he tries to spin you and then plays a pass. That's a different phase of play, different problem that you have to deal with. But the way Cote d'Ivoire handled that game, and I've seen a lot of people say it on social media about how the African teams and African mentality at the World Cup, we appear to settle for a draw.
Because we saw it against Senegal.
Yeah.
In terms of the chances they had, they could have won that game.
Unfortunately,
Egypt's first game against Belgium, we saw it. All right. Then now
they had two chances in that game.
Exactly. Now we're seeing Ivory Coast. Then after the game, you hear their head coach, what's his name, sir? MS5 making the point that they were the better team. They could have won. People are tired of those commentaries.
Look,
the game.
Even Morocco, and I said it here that I didn't think they played as well as people thought they did. The narrative that Morocco were very good and they got a point because they got a point of Brazil is consistent with our willingness, our tolerance for mediocrity. Morocco played well, but didn't do enough to win that game. They should have done more to force the issue. They rarely threatened the Brazilian goalkeeper. Alisson Becker wasn't. Yeah, he was a few times he got busy, but if you look at the possession they had, they didn't create enough goal-scoring opportunities from that. Brazil did, from the brief spell from the moments that they got on top. And that, for me, is the bigger problem for our African teams, that at the World Cup, we need to move past celebrating a good performance to being ruthless, to getting things over the line, because there's no way that game should have ended in a draw.
Let's talk about
Cote d'Ivoire
now.
Cote d'Ivoire had a lot of chances, even before Adingra. Kessie had one.
Exactly.
Sangari had one.
Yeah.
Ulai, who we have praised for all the brilliance, also had one chance that I thought he should have scored. But they fluffed all of those chances. It is very rare for any African team to dominate Germany. But they fluffed it.
Yeah.
And you see, this is not exclusive to this tournament alone. Our own Black Stars against this same German team 12 years ago in that game in Brazil, we should have won that game.
We should have won it.
We had two chances. The Jordan chance that a lot of people tend to remember. But there was another counter break in stoppage time that Ajimambedu. Ajimambedu had the ball, but he was running as if he was carrying 20 bags of cement. Ultimately, waited and waited until his teammate strayed offside, then he played up. Because we had a 3v2 against Germany in that game. We didn't. Remember Cote d'Ivoire against Greece? Remember that game? Senegal, last time out. If you think about every good African team's performance at the World Cup, there is always one game or two where they should have won it, but they were not ruthless enough.
What should Simon Adingra have done in that situation? Because I think you want to appreciate that he is the one receiving the ball. Yeah. Some say, well, he should have played it on the first attempt. He is the one receiving the ball.
Yeah.
He's the one who saw the weight on the pass and decided to get a good first touch. Unfortunately, it was that first touch which was poor.
The decision to take a touch itself was poor. Sometimes, as a forward, when you receive the ball, the nature of the pass.
No, you know, I've changed my mind. The pass wasn't heavy. He could have played it on the first
Yes.
attempt. Based on what I'm seeing,
Yes.
if it's anything to go by.
The nature of the pass took away every other option and presented him with the best option. That is why I cannot forgive Simon Adingra for what he did. Sometimes, the best playmakers, when they release a pass to you, they take away every doubt. They take away every complexity. They take away every other option and leave you with the best possible option. That's what the best players do. So when you miss those chances, everyone can tell that this guy, you are the problem. And that is what happened here.
What about...
How do those players do it? They do it by what Nicolas Pepe did. So the timing of the pass was excellent. He played the pass when the defenders had made the run and they were in no position to block the shots.
And Gershon had done a very good job by drawing
his teammates. Adingra received the ball at a time when he was under no pressure. Look, everything that happened around that, I'm glad you mentioned that. The center forwards continued their run and forced the defenders to go with them, approach the box. Carving that space in behind them for the pass to come through. Then Nicolas Pepe, well-timed, well-weighted pass. Place it on the floor for you. All he had to do, and you see, because there was not too much pace on the ball, he had time to see it coming, perhaps adjust his body, open up his body, and then bend it to the far post.
And to be fair with him too, if you look at it, and the visuals is rolling on your screen, at the time the pass came to him, it was going to be very difficult for him to get a good even shot of the ball, all right? Because his positioning was not the best.
But that's a decision. That's a consequence of his indecisiveness. When you make that run, you are anticipating that the pass will come.
He called for it.
Yes.
You could see his hand. I'm free. Give it to me. And his position. He just had to open his body up a little.
And then wait for it.
Exactly.
So the moment, look, everything, as I've said in this sequence, Gershon makes a brilliant run.
Guys, if you can just pause it at a point for us. There was so much space available. And look, I don't know what kind of save Manon Neuer would have had to...
Pause it here. Even at this stage, he had raised his hand and was asking for the ball.
Yeah.
He had raised his hand and he was asking for the ball. Just look at this angle. Look at this. Yeah. He has raised his hand.
Just look at the amount of space that Adingra had to slap the ball at the back of the net. And unfortunately, a player of his quality, he couldn't even do that.
Look,
but credit also to, who was that retreating? Was that Goretzka, I think? Or it was Kai Havertz. Credit to him. Credit to Kai Havertz, who kept running. He kept running. Look at Kai Havertz. All the way from the back. Kept running. And
no, it's Goretzka.
That's Goretzka. Great. Just look at where Goretzka was. He kept running all the way. Adingra slowed down, got the ball, and Goretzka was very much on it to clear it. So that was very disappointing. And that team after the game...
Take the 10 jersey away from
that team after the game. Well, Orca Deco is giving you 15% off everything at their showrooms at Spintex and Asokwa and Kumasi. They are fully stocked and they're saying they're giving 15% off everything this World Cup season, okay? So just head there. They've got some cozy, sofas. They've got smart TV units. They've got the perfect outdoor setups for the compound. In fact, everything furniture, Orca Deco have got it. So please go to their shops, and the best part is that they're giving you 15% discount on all of these things. And even more interesting is the fact that you don't have to stress about getting the items to your home when you finish buying it, because they are going to handle the delivery and assembly of everything you buy, okay? So head over there today and get your home match ready. Think home, think Orca. Then UMB Bank, they've been with us since 1972. Since 1972, UMB have been providing Ghanaians with excellent service. And so if maybe you had an account with them and you've forgotten about the account, it's time for you to go and reactivate the account. And they are waiting to do that for you, okay? They're even giving you free data bundles just to reactivate your account. They're also giving you free data bundle just to create an account with them. Just to create an account with them. And you can do that on their UMB Speed app, or you can also visit any of their 35 branches across the country. Also, if you want to call them, why not? Call them on 0302 633988, or you can call them also toll free at 0800 100 880. All right? You can also visit their website at www.myumbbank.com. Okay? Create an account with them. Go reactivate your account, because UMB, I'm telling you, very much reliable. And UMB proudly back in Ghana since 1972 and proudly serving Ghana with speed since 1972. That is UMB. And Fortune Spread also is supporting us. And this World Cup season, make sure you've got Fortune Spread at home. You're just about to dash out. You can get it on your bread, your pancakes, your crackers, whatever it is that you use your spread for. Fortune Spread is highly recommended. Okay, you can get it in 250 grams and 900 grams in different sizes, and at any shop at all, you can get Fortune Spread. So make sure you go get some. Then Sigma Appliances also, whether it's TV set, whether it's air conditioners, whether it's washing machine, they've got all of it. I'm talking about all the small appliances you use every day. Sigma Appliances have got them all right? So make sure you get to their showrooms and offices, shops actually, and get some. In fact, if you're a wholesaler, listen to this, you can go to their Platinum Impex on the Spintex Road, right behind Orca Deco. Go there. If you're a wholesaler, go get the washing machines, go restock your shops, because that's what people are buying today. People are buying Sigma Appliances. If you don't have Sigma Appliances, they won't just all right? Then retail buyers also, to any shop at all in the country, you can get Sigma Appliances. If you go to the shop and there's no Sigma Appliances, I'm telling you, the shop is not good enough. Okay? The good shops have got Sigma Appliances. You can call them also on 0302 801 555 or WhatsApp them on 055 466 6444, or visit their website at platinumimpex.net. Sigma Appliances create possibilities. And then Azar Paint. If you're building your house, you're looking to renovate your house, and you're looking for a paint to do that, Azar Paint is the paint you've got to go for, all right? You are guaranteed quality you can trust, wide range of vibrant colors, excellent coverage, durability, and prices that fit your budget. So whether you're painting your home, your office, or your commercial property, Azar Paint has the perfect solution for you. You can visit Azar Chemical Industries today at plot number 88 Spintex Road, Manette, in Accra. You can visit them, and especially for the wholesalers, you can visit them and get your product. You can also call them on 0555 333 888 or 0555 333 777. All right? Azar Paint, number one. Make your office number one with Azar Paint. Make your home number one with Azar Paint. And of course, also Pepsodent. Pepsodent, say, do the two. Actually, have you seen the Pepsodent World Cup limited edition? The Pepsodent, the packaging, the World Cup packaging.
I think there's about three of them that are out there now.
Yeah. Really good, right? So whether it is fresh breath you're looking for, whether it is antibacterial, whether it's plaque removal, Pepsodent has got you covered, okay? Loving what Pepsodent is doing this World Cup season. We'll be back because we have to talk about, we'll touch a bit on the Black Stars, won't we?
Yeah.
And then we'll also talk about Egypt, who have won their first game. Then we'll talk about Cape Verde.
Yeah.
Cape Verde.
Kevin Pina.
And Senegal is playing tonight also.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that, all right? It's Sadio Mane versus Erling Haaland. And Spain finally picked their first win of the tournament. Lamine Yamal, first of the tournament, first of many. Goal number one in the World Cup for Lamine Yamal. And he was happy. It's good to see him. But that was a really good performance from Spain against Saudi Arabia. It was expected.
It was. Last time I was here for the Spain game, when I said the manager got his lineup wrong and that starting Gavi in that game was completely useless. People said I was being harsh. Well, he didn't play this game. They made the changes Alex Baena started.
Yeah.
Dani Olmo, who I said should start in his place, also started. And we saw the difference. A bit more dynamism, a bit more directness. So beyond those two, he also did not start Ferran Torres, obviously because Lamine Yamal was now available. And they were able to stretch the opponents in a way that they previously had not.
Yeah.
One of the players that was also heavily criticized in the first game, Oyarzabal, also turned it on. In fact, the irony of it, the performance was as if he was answering the critics and making up for that very ugly start of not touching the ball in the opening 30 minutes of the game, because for this one, by the 20th minute, he had assisted Lamine Yamal's goal and he had scored twice. Before the first half, I think he could have had about 4 assists because there were a few cutbacks from the left side that really did not find his teammates. But generally, he was very influential, and he did so by peeling off to the left side and not being stationary. I think there was an interview where he previously had said that when he plays as a centre forward, he's always having 2 or 3 players beside him. If you consider what happened in the game against Cape Verde and the decision to move him out wide and let him start from that side, it made a bit more sense. If you look at his numbers overall, he started about 14 or 17 games for Spain. He has 14 goals and some assists in that time for them. He was their joint top scorer in the qualifiers, and he's a brilliant player on his day. And I'm so happy that so far, now he's found his mojo again, played in a role that sort of maximizes his potential, because the whole team's setup was good. Pedri's performance, significantly different from what we saw against Cape Verde. And if you are one of those Barca fans who seems to think this guy is the number 10, this game and the game against Cape Verde should tell you the difference. Pedri is influential when the whole pitch and the game is in front of him, where he can stand, look at his options, and then pick a pass, control the game, find those passes between the lines. When he has to play as a number 10, he's often playing with his back to goal or facing half of the opposition goal. The angles don't always work that way for him. And so that position is perhaps suited to someone like Dani Olmo, who's prepared to take risks. He's looking to shoot. Olmo is only passing the ball if the option doesn't exist.
You want to score, definitely want to get on the score.
Not your classic number 10, but still a better fit for that position than Pedri. You give Pedri control when you play him in a bit deeper, a more withdrawn role. And I think that Luis de la Fuente's got all of those decisions spot on, from Pedri's positioning, shifting Oyarzabal to a bit more left, not necessarily the left winger, but more of an inside forward. And he did a lot of damage from that side. The decision to start Dani Olmo as well gave them a bit more dynamism to that midfield attack. Obviously, when you've got Lamine Yamal, it shifts the narrative.
He played just 45 minutes in that game. You can understand why they're trying to rest him and make sure that they're able to maximize his availability. Well, Spain, with that win, your unbeaten run, they remain unbeaten in each of their last 32 matches across all competitions. They've won 23 and they've drawn 9. And they are now the outright second longest streak without defeat of their history. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And for Lamine Yamal, at age 18 years and 343 days old, he becomes the 8th youngest player to score at the FIFA World Cup and the 3rd youngest to do so on their first start after Spain's Gavi. He did it in 2022 at the age of 18 years. And so it's incredible. And just like you were talking about Mikel Oyarzabal, he is now only the 2nd player on record since 1966 to record 3-goal involvement in the opening 25 minutes of a FIFA World Cup match, after Hungary's Laszlo Fazekas did it against El Salvador in 1982. So this is special for Oyarzabal. First game, 30 minutes, he didn't get a touch. Second game, under 25 minutes, he's already contributed 3 goals. That's special.
That's special.
Yeah, well, Spain will play Uruguay next. It's going to be an incredibly good game. But for Uruguay themselves, it's a dicey situation they are in now. They drew their first game against Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
And they've gone on to draw against Cape Verde, who themselves are just having fun. They are just enjoying themselves at this World Cup, all right? First time in the World Cup, and my word, look at what they did to Uruguay. Vozina. And what even, what do you call it, made this special for Vozina was that he finally got his mother to watch him at the stadium. The U.S. State Department did everything possible to make sure that his mother was there for that second game, and it was special. And if you look at the kind of records that Cape Verde, without draw, managed to create for themselves, they became the first debutant country to go undefeated in the first two FIFA World Cup matches since Senegal did it in 2002. And not just that, they also conceded only 5 fouls in the tournament so far, and is the fewest across the opening 2 matches of any team in a single tournament and record since 1966. So they've been very disciplined, very disciplined. Not just that. If you look at the man who scored the first goal for them, they became the first team on record since 1966 to score their first ever FIFA World Cup goal from a direct free kick. And that was Kevin Pina, who scored that goal with some 32 meters out. And it's the longest range goal of the 2026 FIFA World Cup so far. It's incredible. This is special. You can understand the celebration on the streets of USA. Which city were they playing the game in? Was it New Jersey? Not
New
too
Jersey,
sure
yeah.
where it was, but you can understand the celebration as party after party. And for Cape Verde, the city itself, that's what you're seeing now. It's fun. It's fun. And they are in a very good position to advance to the next stage of the competition. And actually, this is why we love the World Cup. Stories like this make us...
This is why we love it. Cape Verde are hardly the model football administration on the continent. They don't have it all figured out. They're not the team to point to and say they are the example for everyone to follow in terms of their youth football, this or that. But they are a team that is trying to figure itself out, trying to build itself, and they are making some of the strides that I think should give credibility to whatever it is that they are doing. My scant knowledge of the team and the storylines from how this group was assembled is what makes the story even more fascinating, because let's start from Kevin Pina, the goal scorer. He, look, some of these things are written in the stars because his introduction to football was made by Carlos Moraes. Ghanaians would remember him played against the Black Stars in the World Cup qualifiers back in 2005 and then in 2004. When Ghana played Cape Verde, he's the first player to have scored in a World Cup qualifier for Cape Verde. He did that back in 2003. I think it was against Swaziland also when he scored that goal. He met Kevin Pina in Boston, Massachusetts in a chance meeting. And he introduced Kevin Pina to football. Today, Kevin Pina goes one better and scores his country's first ever World Cup goal, having been introduced by the man who scored the country's first ever goal in World Cup qualifiers. You can't write a better script than that.
Yeah.
Then there is Roberto Lopez, the defender. And when I think of that interview with the BBC that he gave before this tournament, it's just mind-boggling. He was a banking and finance guy. He was a mortgage advisor. And he says he didn't find too much satisfaction in that, so he was playing football on the side. Then at a point, he decides that, you know what, he doesn't like sitting behind a desk. This is Roberto Lopez.
Yeah.
And so he decides to ditch it, has a career in Ireland, was playing for Celtic at a point. Now, back in 2018, according to him, he receives a message on LinkedIn.
On LinkedIn, yeah.
And then because the message is in Portuguese, he says he thinks it's a spam, so he doesn't read it. Then a year later, he receives another message from the same account. This time it's in English. And the message says, "Have you had time to consider on the request I made a year ago?" So he goes back to copy the original message that was sent him, paste it in Google Translate, and it's literally an invitation to come and play for the Cape Verdean national team because the manager says the FA is looking to expand the national pool of players. So they are looking at everyone with Cape Verdean roots. His father is Cape Verdean, but his mother is from Dublin, and that's where he was born. So anyone with Cape Verdean roots with even a 1% chance of playing for us, if you're eligible, we are prepared to go through that nationality switch. If you haven't played for any other country, even better. So he says at that point, he felt very bad for not even understanding the message that was sent in the beginning. And he says yes, comes on to represent his country, and so far has been a brilliant player. But you see, it's not just the fairy tales or the beautiful stories. What made Cape Verde attractive to a player like him is a path that they have been on. AFCON 2013, brilliant performance from them. They get out of the group. It's a tournament that Nigeria won. I think it was in the quarterfinal stage that they got eliminated. The next tournaments, they didn't make it out of the group. But there has been sustained success over the years as far as being good, being present at the AFCON is concerned. At least they gave us a taste of how good they have been in the last AFCON that we attended when they beat the Black Stars in that group opener, went on to finish the group, I think, with 7 points out of 9. The anomaly, and I say qualifying for this AFCON, not qualifying for the AFCON was an anomaly because it was purely a matter of finances. I mean,
but at the moment, do they stand a chance of making it to the next?
Yeah, they do.
They've
They
got
stand a
2
chance.
points. They've got a neutral goal difference at the moment.
If they draw that final game, it takes them to 3 points. And I have said
what's better game than a final game against Saudi Arabia? And
I think that game is also likely to end in a draw.
I think they just might win that one. I think they might win that one.
But 3 points means that they could finish in third place. That is if Uruguay and Spain draw. If Spain beats Uruguay, they are through. If Spain beats Uruguay, Cape Verde are through even with a point. Because then if Spain beats Uruguay, Cape Verde will finish with 3 points. Uruguay will have 2 points. Saudi Arabia will have 2 points. So Cape Verde will qualify with second place. And it's a brilliant story for me. Hopefully whatever
I'm backing Cape Verde to beat Saudi Arabia. I'm seriously backing them. I want them to get their first win of the tournament. And I think if they go the group stage unbeaten, which is very possible, I think I'm going to go to Cape Verde. I'm going to change my mind and go to Cape Verde. I'm going to spend the rest of my World Cup in Cape Verde.
Countries like that need the financial or the windfall from participating in the World Cup and even doing well. So they are making, I think, between 10 and 15 million US dollars for the group stage alone. If they make it to the next round, you get it roughly, I think, 5 million or so that is added to it.
You can imagine what that would do.
It would do because...
Yeah, let's just take a quick turn. We'll come back. We'll try and connect with Daniel Kranti, who's joined us now. We're going to get insight from him, especially ahead of the game between Senegal and Norway, and what he's got to share with us on what the Black Stars have been up to. All right? Stay with us. Hi there, welcome back, and welcome back. Good to have you back, okay? Fortune Spread, Betano, Azar Paint, UMB, Pepsodent, Sigma Appliances, Alive Soap, Orca Deco, Wool Lucky, and Holy Multi-Purpose Insecticide Spray and Coil. In Tonton Police, my goodness, in Tonton Police. Now, today, there are very, very good games to look forward to. At 5 p.m., Argentina is playing Austria. Then at 7 p.m., 7, right, Aju?
Yeah.
7 p.m., France will play Iraq. Then at
So that's at 9 p.m.
9 p.m.
France-Iraq is at 9.
So that's 8 p.m. Ghana time.
Yeah.
So France and Iraq, 8 p.m. Ghana time. Then 12 a.m.
No, it's 9 p.m. The first game is at 5.
Okay, fine.
Argentina, Austria.
Great. So 9 p.m. France, Iraq. Then at 12 a.m. we'll be watching Norway and Senegal. Erling Haaland and Sadio Mane. Or Erling Haaland and Nicolas Jackson. Whichever you want. All right? Now, Daniel Cranton is in Boston at the moment. That's where the Black Stars will play their next game against England tomorrow. And he is now joining me. You can see him. And Daniel, I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, wonderful. I mean, just before we get to the Black Stars, briefly, looking forward to very good games today. Very good games today. One African side, Senegal is involved. France will be playing, and Argentina will be playing today also. Just a quick one on those games.
Everybody here is hoping that Senegal can continue from the leaf of Verde against yesterday, especially getting their first ever World Cup win, boosting their qualification chances, especially as Belgium drew the run earlier in the day, so it gives them a huge chance. Cape Verde, obviously, you guys have spoken about it. Did a brilliant job in terms of holding their opponents to the 2-2 for that Uruguay. Another big team after winning with Spain, they've done it again with Uruguay. So hopefully Senegal cannot follow suit. We know that they lost their opponent against France. It wasn't an easy game. The paper was supposed to break. So today's game is also very difficult. In fact, that if Senegal finds themselves, it's a very difficult game. But we are hoping that they can get the necessary points and build upon it in the last game.
Well, really good. But then let's talk about the Black Stars. There's a lot of talk about Lawrence Atizigi. There was some report flying around that, well, he's not going to play for the rest of the tournament. It's quite surprising, considering the FA has not communicated that. And then it's curiosity also as to how the coach is going to approach the game against England. What have you picked up?
Yeah, so with Atizigi, since that game against Panama, he's training individually. He's not joined the group yet. The Black Stars goalkeeping coach said that the decision for him to start or not to be taking the best interest of the team. So as for that, we'll have to wait and see if it to start tomorrow. But other than that, the rest of the players have all been training injury-free, and that's some good news for the Black Stars. In camp, there's some growing concern as the technical team were looking through videos from England. They noticed that the new rules change. If you remember, holding and grappling in terms of set pieces, the FIFA released a communique for the competition that will be punished. And we saw that being punished in a number of the friendly games that happened before the tournament. But the technical team of the Black Stars noticed that England were going unpunished. And there's that growing concern that that trend may continue into tomorrow's game. So that's something that we are keeping an eye on, hoping that if there's tagging and pulling, it will go punished by the officials.
I mean, but in terms of the itinerary of the Black Stars between now to that game tomorrow, how is it looking like?
Yeah, so the Black Stars will have a training session at 10 a.m. Local time here. That's in about 2 hours at their training camp base at the Bryant University. Before then, 15 minutes before the start of the training, there's a media session. So a couple of players will be released to speak to the media before the designated training session. After that, at 1 p.m., there will be the pre-match press conference. And that has generated a lot of interest. Yesterday, I spent some considerable time at the Black Stars team hotel, where the technical team together with the communications team were prepared for that press conference. Now, they know they are going to be bombarded with questions from Thomas Partey. And if you looked at the disposition of the head coach, Carlos Queiroz, I can tell you guys to expect a fiery press conference later today because they were prepared and they are very prepared for the questions that will be probably posed to them by the English media.
But in terms of the English team also, have we picked up anything about them?
Stones?
They are basically going through their rhythm as usual. They are quite quiet in terms of what they are giving out, and that's understandable. Even in terms of the Black Stars also, because of the familiarity between the two teams, players playing in the leagues a lot of familiarity in terms of England, because the Premier League is probably the biggest league in the world. It's very easy to get scouting tips and things from the Premier League. So the English camp is keeping a lot of things under the wraps. You don't know how they are going to approach this game. And all we'll get is the T-1 training session, the 15-minute training session that we'll be able to witness later today to see how they are shaping up, what it looks like before the game. But they have held a number of close training sessions. So have the Black Stars also. Since the Panama game, we've had only 2 open training sessions. The rest have been closed from a Black Stars point of view. And England also have done something pretty similar, which is basically standard practice, because you don't want too many people attending your training sessions and probably sending spies to see exactly what you are planning for them. So it's standard practice. And I think until we see them with the 15 minutes open training session today, we will not necessarily know too much what is going on in that camp.
Achi is also here. He's got some questions. Achi.
Danny, is there any word on the situation with John Stones? There were whispers that Maguire may come in for him for this one.
Yeah, that's the thing. As I said, the English camp are not too forthcoming with information. Very similar to what the Black Stars technical team is doing to the RTCD situation. Because if you know right now that a player is out, then you almost know who is coming in, and then you can plan around it. So they are sort of keeping that as a surprise element. We don't necessarily know exactly what is going on with that situation in the England camp.
But in terms of the mood in camp among the players, we've seen some visuals. How is it like? Are they very confident of victory against England?
Look, it's been very calm, pure vibes since the Panama game. And that's largely because the team won. And I was speaking with a couple of players yesterday. They said it's not just that they won, it's the fact that they won it in the last minute. And it gives them this belief that, yes, the work they are doing is finally paying off, because there are certain ways you win that just make you know that maybe the stars are aligned in your favor. And that's the feeling in camp. They are confident, and they are really looking forward to that England game. Yes, they know that it's going to be difficult, but based on how they finished up that Panama game, most of them are very are looking forward to that England game with keen anticipation. And you can understand that. They know most of the players, some of these top guys play with them at club level. And since the draw was done, even as fans, that's the game we're looking for. So you can understand why the players also share that sentiment.
But in terms of the atmosphere in Boston, because we saw what happened in Toronto, it was a beautiful attendance by the Ghanaians there and all of those who support the Black Stars. Yellow everywhere. How is the mood like in Boston? Have you been able to interact with some Ghanaians there? Are we likely to see what we saw in Toronto?
Look, it's building up gradually. The main Ghanaian base is in Worcester. That's about 25 minutes drive from Providence, where the team is based. There are still a number of Ghanaians in the Providence area. Yesterday, the Ghanaians joined a watch party to support the Cape Verde. And so you can see there's that Ghana vibe, but I expect the guys from Worcester to troop to the stadium tomorrow. There were a couple of parties in Worcester yesterday in anticipation for tomorrow's game. So you can tell that anticipation is building up. People are excited. And slowly Ghanaians are beginning to troop in. Yesterday, there was a full bus that came to the hotel close to where we are, full of Ghanaians. So most of them had targeted this English game or this England game, and they are slowly beginning to troop into their country, building up the anticipation to tomorrow's game.
Well, Daniel, thank you very much. I'm sure you'll be there at the press conference later today, and hopefully we'll reconnect with you in the course of the day and even tomorrow ahead of that big one. Daniel Cranston joining us all the way from Boston, the USA there. And Achu, really good, really good. The Ghanaians are beginning to arrive in buses.
Look, I think you should expect a bigger Ghanaian contingent for this game than we saw for the Canadian game. There are tons of Ghanaians in the United States of America.
Yeah.
And they will not be stopped by the distance. A lot of them will drive where possible.
I had someone actually from Australia to watch the game against Panama.
Yeah.
That's a long journey.
Look,
so
this World Cup here, one of the things that it will do is that it will give Ghanaians who grew up in the diaspora a first-hand experience of what the Black Stars are. Because unless you were born in Africa, unless you were born in Ghana, the only time you get to see the Black Stars is when the team is at the AFCON, right? So this is the first time that a lot of those kids who grew up in Canada, who grew up in the USA, who grew up in Australia, and countries in that Latin American enclave, this is their first exposure to the Black Stars.
Yeah.
They love the country, they love the national team, but they don't have that personal bond. That
And this is a
physical-
fine opportunity.
And that is why it would live with a lot of them. Look,
Tomorrow is going to be special.
and-
Not just in the USA, even here in Ghana. It's going to be wild.
Beyond the result itself and the importance of the win, it was also necessary that for that group of Ghanaians who hadn't watched their national team before, who hadn't seen the team play before, it was necessary that they got rewarded with a win when it came to their first exposure and their first experience.
Well,
with the
tomorrow we're going to
national
spend so much time on that game. We'd love to hear where you'll be watching the game from. The Independence Square has become a focal point for many. We saw it against Panama. Let's see whether they can get some messages, because a few messages have been sent through. Then we'll just take a quick prediction for the games happening today, and we can wrap it up. A big thank you to Betano, believing makes it real. Azar Paints, #1. UMB proudly serving Ghana with speed since 1972. And also the official banking partner for the GFA and the Ghana Black Stars. And of course, Pepsodent, do the two brush every morning and evening. Sigma Appliances create possibilities. A live soap, feel fresh, fortune spread, yummy, delicious, always on point. Orca Deco, think home, think Orca. And Woo Lucky, stake small, win big. And of course, Holy multi-purpose insecticide spray and coil. And Tonton Police. Oh boy, we're cool here. It's spray, whoosh! Quick. Actually, quick prediction. Argentina, Austria.
Oh, Argentina.
Argentina win.
Yeah, 2-0.
France, Iraq.
France win.
Senegal, Norway.
Senegal win 2-1.
I think I go with the same. Argentina win, France win, Norway, Senegal, both teams to score. There we go. Guys, we'll be back. We'll be back later tonight for Sports Zone at 8 to 10. Then at 12 a.m. starting 11 for the game between Norway and Senegal. So a long day to look forward to here on Joy Prime. Thank you very much for your company.